times. So for those 5 years, Kibaki had my trust. When I lost the election in 2007, because of the continuity of what you are doing, he took me to Kenya
National Highways Authority as a chairperson.
I was not the chair, but we were the pioneer. That's when we formed Kenya. We were the pioneer board, but I was the only person who knew exactly what wanted to be done.
Very well.
So we went and formed Kenya, not forgetting that when I was the assistant minister, that's when we had the 3 road boards. The Roads Act is when we enacted it.
Yeah.
So I was fully aware of what President wanted the boards to do. Those boards.
But I can see, I think, the wheels have started already, and now they are on the way to Nyeri. Well, they've stuck there for almost 10 minutes now.
Exactly.
I'm just wondering now, they were expected to be in Othaya at 10. If this was to continue, then they're likely to take a bit of time on the highway.
Yeah.
We are yet to understand what exactly was happening there, whether it was an issue of the Jaguar car that is carrying the casket, or maybe it was a question of consultations. But of importance is the fact that now they're on the way, and let's hope that they wouldn't have to stop again. And we continue to give you this coverage. This is Kibaki'S final lap. We started at 7. That's when the body left the funeral home. Now it's about 10 minutes to the hour of 10, and now the casket is around Othai, is around Karatina town. After these, they will have to go for another 35 kilometers before they get to Othaya Approved School. And we've been crisscrossing the two places, the entourage and the approved school, just to show you what is happening there, because we have our team there. We have Nancy Okware, we have Beatrice Gatonye and John Jacob Kiore, who are right there just to bring us, various perspectives of what is happening now. The body has so far now gone through 3 counties, the county of Nairobi, actually 4. The county of Nairobi, the county of Kiambu, the county of Murang'a. And actually, Kirinyaga. This is now the 5th county.
Yes.
So Kiambu,
Murang'a,
Kirinyaga, now Nyeri.
So they started with Nairobi, then Kiambu, Murang'a, Kirinyaga. Now they're in Nyeri County now. Interesting. And as you can see, thousands of people in Karatina, bracing the morning chill just to bid farewell to their son, bearing in mind that this would also be classified as Kibaki'S local town, which is less than 40 kilometers from where he was born. Another area that would be very interesting to you is the entourage is expected to go through various centers, and I can take you through them. After Karatina, they will go through a small town called Mathaithi, at the junction to Mukroene. Then there's also another town called Yagatika, junction to Tomotomo. Yeah, I want to pause at Tomotomo because it is very significant, because that is where the late Kibaki'S wife, Mama Lucy Kibaki, went to high school.
That's correct.
Tomotomo House High School. So I don't know what I mean. They may stop there just to honor the school. Look at the people in Karatina waving white handkerchiefs. The sign of peace. This is quite interesting. Prof, do you want to say something?
This is Karatina at its best. This is the people coming out in huge numbers.
Yes.
Not far from Tomotomo, as you said, the center of Presbyterianism in Central Province, together with Togoto. First missionaries arriving in Togoto, then moving on to Tomotomo. Kenyatta actually went to Togoto, but he also spent some time in Tomotomo as a young man. That's
Kenyatta's the senior.
Yes, Kenyatta, sorry, yeah. That's how deep it goes. And the education there, and early education and PC work is still, and it was an imprint. It's not just the school, also the hospital, the church, and all.
Oh dear. Well, Engineer Toro, I mean, you're completely gobsmacked. Do you want to say something about what you're saying? That's crazy.
When I look at this, I say people are genuinely happy to receive their president. And
that's so sad. That is the last time they're going to.
And sad at the same time. It's a combination of happiness and sadness that they have bid him farewell after knowing him for all those years. Because President Kibaki was the politician in Nyeri, the top politician in Nyeri, respected. And every politician in Nyeri wanted to go anywhere. If you are not associated with Kibaki, then people will just sideline you. Because the people in Nyeri wanted their leaders to be mentored by Kibaki. If you become an MP or a councillor in Nyeri, without mentorship from Kibaki, then your leadership was viewed, they could not be the best. And that's why you found those days, if you are standing against Kibaki, people in Nyeri would finish.
You knew you were going to lose.
You're going to lose. And that is what was being recognized even yesterday. Kibaki the leader. When Uhuru talked about Kibaki, three things about Kibaki the leader. This is what he inculcated in the people of Nyeri and leadership.
Very well. Yes, the body has just, or the casket has just left, Karatina town now en route to Othaya. We now want to take you to Othaya. And
Brian, before you go to that, having seen, the multitude of people coming out and, waving the white handkerchiefs, when you look at the presidential standard that President national standard, which was on the gun carriage was white, and the national flag, where he lay in state in parliament, was also in white. And it's quite a coincidence that even the residents coming out there and waving white handkerchiefs, of course it would have been the same, but it's quite a coincidence that President Mwai Kibaki chose white. He's been talked about as a person who loved peace. So white and peace go hand in hand.
That's
and
right.
Just to say that the moment they will be about to arrive at Othaya, it's President Uhuru Kenyatta who actually will receive the body. Just the same way it happened yesterday at Mwai National Stadium. They left State House, and briefly and shortly actually before they reached Mwai Stadium, President Uhuru Kenyatta also arrived to receive the body. So I'm told that our reporter Beatrice Gatonye is on standby just to give us an update on what is there. Beatrice, it's a busy...
Misa takatifu ya wafu itafanyiwa hapa ya mwenda zake Mwai Kibaki. Na kama tujuavyo, msafara uko njiani, na muda mfupi tu atakuwa mwili wake utakuwa ukiwasili hapa, na ninataka nikuonyeshe tu shughuli chache ambazo zinaendelea katika uwanja huu. Niko mmoja kati ya malango mengi yaliyoko katika uwanja huu, na huu ni mlango mmoja ambao unatumiwa na wananchi kuingia. Hapa wananchi wanakaguliwa. Kuna vitu ambavyo haviruhusiwi mtu yeyote kuingia navyo, kama vile kiberiti, ama maji, ama juice, ama vyakula vingine vyovyote. Na kama jinsi ambavyo unaona kulingana na picha ambazo unaonyeshwa hapa, ni kukaguliwa. Kila mmoja anafanyiwa ukaguzi kuhakikisha kwamba usalama umeimarishwa katika uwanja huu. Wananchi hawa wanapoingia katika uwanja huu wanakutana na maafisa wa NYS ambao wamewasubiri hapa, wanapatiwa maji, wengine pia wanapewa, na kisha baada ya kupatiwa maji unapatiwa mkate, alafu kisha pale mbele kuna soda za kila aina. Ile soda ambayo wewe unaipendelea unaichukua hapo, na kisha unaelekezwa mahali ambapo unastahili kuketi, na unasaidiwa na maafisa wa NYS pamoja na maafisa wengine wa polisi ambao wako katika eneo hili. Kando na hayo, mtazamaji, tayari wananchi wameanza kuketi, na kama tujuavyo, Rais Mwai Kibaki hayati sasa alikuwa anapendelewa sana hapa kama mbunge, kwani alihudumu tangu mwaka 1974 hadi mwaka 2013 kama mbunge wa eneo bunge la Othaya. Hivyo basi wakazi ambao wanamiminika katika uwanja huu wana hadhi kubwa sana na wanamheshimu sana mwenda zake, kwani ni kiongozi ambaye amehudumia kwa muda mrefu, na ni mengi ambayo yamesemwa kuhusiana na kiongozi huyu. Na ningependa nikuelekeze upande huu mwingine. Baada ya wananchi kuingia, pia wanapata fursa ya kutazama picha ambazo zinaonyesha safari ya rais mwenda zake hayati Mwai Kibaki. Hizi ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha yeye kama mtu wa familia, yeye pamoja na mke wake Lucy hapo, pamoja na wajukuu akiwasomea vitabu. Hizo ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha Kibaki kama mtu wa familia. Kando na hayo, pia kuna picha nyingine ambazo zinamuonyesha kama mtu wa kitaifa. Alihudumu katika nyanja mbalimbali katika serikalini, hapo akiwa pamoja na hayati mzee Jomo Kenyatta, na yeye kama anahudumu pia kama katika nyadhifa mbalimbali alizokuwa amepewa kama kwenye serikali. Picha inayofuata ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha rais hayati Mwai Kibaki kama mbunge. Kama jinsi ambavyo nimekuambia, alihudumu kama mbunge wa eneo hili kwa takriban miongo minne, na picha hizi zinaonyesha safari yake yeye kama mbunge wa eneo hili. Kando na hayo, tuna picha ambazo pia zinamuonyesha ama zinaashiria wakati wake alipohudumu kama waziri wa fedha, na amesifiwa sana kama waziri ambaye alifufua uchumi wa nchi hii, waziri ambaye alijitolea kuhakikisha kwamba uchumi wa nchi umeinuka. Kando na hayo, pia kuna picha ambazo zinaonyesha hayati Mwai Kibaki kama makamu wa rais ambaye alikuwa makamu wa rais wake hayati Daniel Arap Moi. Hapo hizo ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha wakati wake yeye pamoja na hayati rais wa pili wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Daniel Arap Moi. Picha pia ambazo zinafuata ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha kuhusiana naye kama kiongozi wa upinzani, hapo wakiwa na John King wakati ambapo walianzisha chama cha DP. Hapo hizo ni picha ambazo pia zinaashiria hayati Mwai Kibaki kama kiongozi wa upinzani. Picha inayofuata inaonyesha hudumu kama rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Amesifiwa kama kiongozi ambaye alijitolea kuwasaidia Wakenya kuinua uchumi, kutengeneza barabara, kama jinsi ambavyo tunasikia studioni wachanganuzi wakizungumza zaidi kuhusiana na jinsi walivyotengeneza barabara, walivyounda barabara nyingi. Amesifiwa kama rais ambaye bila shaka alileta mabadiliko makubwa hapa nchini Kenya. Hatutaweza kuzungumza kuhusu safari ya hayati Mwai Kibaki bila kuzungumzia kuzinduliwa kwa katiba mpya mwaka 2010. Hii ni safari ambayo alihakikisha kwamba ameifanya na nchi hii ikaweza kupokea katiba mpya ambayo imesifiwa sana kama mojawapo wa katiba ambazo ni nzuri sana kote duniani. Hapa ni katika uwanja wa Approved School, mtazamaji, ambapo mwili wa hayati Mwai Kibaki utakuwa ukiwasili muda mfupi kutoka sasa, ambapo viongozi wa serikali pamoja na wananchi wa hapa Othaya na kote nchini Kenya tayari wanaendelea kumiminika katika uwanja huu ili kumpa heshima za mwisho na pia kumsindikiza kiongozi huyu ambaye bila shaka amesifiwa kote ulimwenguni, na wengi wamemwomboleza kama kiongozi aliyejitolea kuhakikisha kwamba taifa hili linainuka kiuchumi, kimaendeleo na mengine mengi. Na watu wa eneo hili tayari wamefika hapa kwa wingi kwa sababu wanajivunia kiongozi huyu ambaye wamemtambua, wanajivunia sana kiongozi huyu na wanamchukulia kuwa mtu wao wa karibu sana. Ndio sababu hivi leo, kando na kibaridi kingi hapa Othaya, wengi wamejitokeza, wadogo kwa wakubwa, wazee kwa vijana, wamama, wasichana, wamefika hapa kwa kiburi ya Kenya. Hivyo basi tuko hapa katika uwanja wa Approved School ambapo tutakuwa tukikuletea taarifa nyingi kuhusu hapa muda mfupi kutoka sasa. Na kurejesha studioni Obran Kemani pamoja na Victor Olo, uwanja ni wenyu.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. That comprehensive update on what is happening down there in Othaya with the pictorial evidence of life and times of President Mwai Kibaki. And now, as you can see, guests have already taken their seats, and of course, as per the information, is that that dome is going to carry 15,000 people, and the rest will be beamed live on different particular items are not allowed into that particular area. Things with matchstick, water and what have you just for security allowed. They are a few minutes away from that, probably plus or minus, and of course is and they are because of those stops. And of course, the road is still under construction. So yes, it can pass that way. But then President Uhuru Kenyatta will be the person to receive the body, meaning President Uhuru Kenyatta at this particular point should be en route to Othaya. A 19-gun salute will be given in honor of the late President Mwai Kibaki. And of course, we are also informed that a few meters to the home, the gun carriage will be there. Yet to confirm how that will take place. And of course, the casket is draped in a national flag, but at the burial site or the grave side, that flag will be handed over to the family. Right now, to President Mwai Kibaki, he even said through the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, that is Martin Elia Lomuro, who spoke on behalf of Salva Kiir, who said that President Mwai Kibaki even took some to Kenya Government School for training. Registration was done here in Kenya, and the peace accord was also done here in Kenya. Prof, it's when you talk of peace, when you talk of international relations with other nations, we can never talk much about President Mwai Kibaki. South Sudan is enjoying peace right now. And if you look at the flag, it's more or less the same as Kenya's flag. Right.
I think you're absolutely right. Peace and development for us in Kenya always went together. And I think what President Kibaki did was to continue on the foundations built at independence by the first president and the second president, as far as the Sudanese peacemaking efforts are concerned. I think President Kibaki's introduction and innovation here was something he called economic diplomacy.
Yes.
And business diplomacy, going alongside peacemaking and development. If you look at our embassies everywhere, there was a renewed emphasis on business and bringing in investment and getting our exports out there. And part of the training, you just mentioned the importance of training here, in Kenya School of Government, but also Foreign Service Institute at our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, began get to know from each one of them, they meet I think once every 2 years, what exactly have they done to promote economic. But you're right, peace in our region, if you look at what happened in Somalia, our armed forces intervened. When our tourist resorts on the coast came under attack.
Yes.
We didn't attack first, they attacked. We had to respond, and we did. As far as Somalia is concerned, we continued a very good cooperation as far as security in the region concerned with Ethiopia.
He was also so passionate about foreign policy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And foreign policy, because he realized very well that we needed excellent relations with other countries in the world. Let me tell you, a lot of people talk about looking east policy under Kibaki. I think that is not quite accurate.
Yes.
What he was doing was saying we are going to consolidate our relationship with our traditional partners in the West and in Africa, to start with in Africa and start with in East Africa, but we are also going to add onto that relationship, onto our baggage of relationship with these new emerging countries in Asia. So what you do see, despite all this look-east policy, is that we have continued our relationship with Western countries, with America, with Britain, with France, with Germany. In fact, they've grown quite tremendously over that. At the same time, we've added, in Eastern our our relationship with Asia, particularly East Asia and Southeast Asia.
Yeah. But Prof, again, before I let you go, if you look at his approach in terms of how he would handle issues, he would mediate through ministries, through envoys, through different departments, not as a person. He would delegate duties. How would you attribute this to his personality and in terms of how he would run his government?
I think from the very beginning, and I think the minister here will attest, he said, I will delegate, but I will delegate to the most efficient.
Actually, the minister will also be
That's the one. I will delegate to the most efficient people I have. Ministers, permanent secretaries, directors, managers, policymakers, advisors. Get the best, delegate to them, sit back and wait for the report. But you had better make sure when you went with your report to President Kibaki that it was up to snuff. It was up to the standards of his. Otherwise, privately, you get a lashing.
Was it, give me a picture when you went to report to the president, okay, he was your boss, Mzee, this is what I've done, this is the far I've reached, and this is the next step. How would you react? Meeting.
Professor is very right. You know, Kibaki, you don't go to see Kibaki to tell him anything.
Yes.
As long as you are working, he'll leave you alone. He does not want you to go reporting to him. You are going to tell him what? Can you tell Kibaki, you go and tell Kibaki,
give me the results.
I've started on this road.
Yes.
No. He's there. He knows exactly what is happening everywhere.
Right.
So if you make a mistake, that's the time maybe he'll call you. And if you find Kibaki telling you to go and see him, it is either you have done something that is not right, or there is something that he wants you to initiate. Otherwise, Kibaki will not bother you. For example, in the docket of roads and infrastructure,
yes,
we would meet. He will not, just like when you find that he wants to meet you before he goes to the construction site to launch a road. No. He knows everything will be okay. So you go. The belief is there. He looks at the belief when you are there. And he was very fast at looking at issues.
Yeah.
Very fast.
The pointers.
Very fast.
Yes.
And he knew every time you are going outside, when he's meeting readers, number one issue was roads. Roads and water. So, but the priority was always roads. Roads were in bad condition. So he would be able to address those issues.
Right.
The other good thing that he gave us ministers comfort is that he did not want to write to the people, to the wananchi. So once he gets the briefing that this road, maybe it's at this stage, design, we are going to tender maybe very soon. It is being looked into so that he knows what to tell the readers.
Yes.
If, for example, we are launching a road and other roads have come up, and I give him the brief that this road is maybe being designed, because we look at the road before going to a certain area, he would make us very comfortable and say, you know, mnajua serikali inafanya kazi na budget. Na hii budget inapitishwa na bunge. Hiyo ndio tunafuata. Kama hii barabara haiko kwa budget mwaka huu, hamwezi jengewa hii barabara.
Yes. So you have to plan it.
Sasa tutaiweka kwa budget ya mwaka ujao. He will never tell wananchi that hii itatengenezwa leo, itatengenezwa mwaka huu. So they give us a lot of comfort that President has said it is not in the budget. So even answering parliamentary questions for me, it would be very easy for me to say the President was there and he said we are going to look into it the next financial year. But he would be able to tell the people the truth, and that gave us a lot of comfort.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
And
Okay.
And also, if when you are giving the belief, and this is something that we learned to be thinking on our feet. You don't know what he's going to ask. For example, you are explaining about the road, and there is the drawing and the map of the road. So you look at it and say, anaona hapa inapitia hapa. Sinaona hapa kuna town nyingine pale. Sasa kwa nini hii barabara isiingie huko? Wale watu watasema nini? How many kilometers is it from here to there? So you have to have all the facts right. Yeah?
Right.
And you have to have the figures. Tukiingiza hapa, kwani itakuwa tutaongeza pesa ngapi? So that he now knows, he says now tutaipeleka kwa hii shopping center, then you have to do it. But you have to be very careful to tell him the actual cost, so that it can be accommodated. If it not be accommodated,
Yes.
then he will not talk about it. He will not talk about it. He will let it be there. But he wants to know, when he goes to tell the wananchi, does he commit himself?
That really confirms what President Kenyatta said yesterday, that as a leader, you must be able to lead yourself first.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. O'Brien, take it away.
We also wanted to update the people that, they have taken a detour, yeah? I think they have used the Mukurweini fire route. Probably maybe because the other road was was taking a bit of time because it is still under construction. And I think the cortege was having a bit of problem here. And as we have just seen there, the cortege has just passed the Othaya Boys High School, yeah? Othaya Boys.
Oh, it's on fire already.
Yeah. Oh, so that tells you that they're not far off from the Othaya approved school. So this is, I think the route is shorter, or what? I mean, I'm not very familiar with the terrains of
Mukurweini is shorter.
It is shorter. Yeah. So also because probably maybe they were running behind schedule. Time. When you look at time, and this is something that they would want to not to get late, because we are in the rainy season, and of course the weather has been kind to them, but at least it hasn't rained this morning, but it looks like it was raining the whole night.
Yeah, but the weather is holding well so far. Yes.
Yeah, and some of the people that we've seen at the Othaya approved school, what is actually now on your screen, we have seen a couple of people there, education CS, Professor George Magoha. We've also seen NAC Kenya leader Martha Karua. We have also seen National Treasury CS Ukuri Yatani, among other people who have graced this occasion. President Uhuru Kenyatta has not yet landed here, but is expected to land before the arrival of the cortege. So those are some of the issues that we are monitoring from here. We are still in the good company of two men who served under the late president, Mwai Kibaki, that is Professor Michael Chege, who was an economic as well as a social advisor to the president, and engineer Joshua Toro, who was a former assistant minister for roads, public works, as well as housing. We continue with this conversation here on what they learned or they have learned from the departed president, and of course what legacy the late president has left that they are going to miss. I want to find out from you, Professor Chege, why was President Mwai Kibaki so keen on infrastructure development?
Just like the minister here said, he realized two things. His own experience of Kenya's economy between 1963 at independence and 1978, the role played by infrastructure in opening up what were then called African areas of the economy, particularly agriculture, and the fact that there had been a decline between 78, particularly 1980s, coming the 1990s. That rehabilitation of infrastructure got priority, because if you open up infrastructure, you open up a lot of possibilities, because with communications, you give people who grow crops in the land. Same thing with transportation itself. It's a wealth creator. It's also an income generator, plus the service sector. Infrastructure went hand by hand. Yes, as the minister is saying, a lot of it was roads, but also electricity and access to energy. I remember him saying, connect power to every shopping center. Look at what happened when shopping centers in Kenya connected to power. Small, medium enterprises that use electricity, including handsets for users of telephones like yourselves. And the industry is associated with that, M-Pesa and all of that, which has made Kenya famous. All of this ride at the back of infrastructure, and I think that is why he wanted it. It generated growth and gave people hope. You just mentioned Thika Superhighway. Look at what the situation was there before and after. It's not just the highway. It is connected construction, building, habitation between Thika and Nairobi, to the extent that you're talking about one continuum of urbanization, which we need to look into, by the way. Yeah. That it must be planned, better planned, because, and by saying better planned, it means more infrastructure, because we need better roads, you need sanitation, you need water, and also you need public places and schools and hospitals and all of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's proper to say that, yes, indeed, infrastructure development, has a spurring effect on development of local villages. And that is quite apparent, because when you use some of the bypasses, that the late president, constructed, like the western bypass, the eastern bypass, the southern bypass. I mean, you've realized the significant development in terms of real estate. Yeah. You see towns that were never there. Mm-hmm. You see new estates that were never there before. And so that trigger effect is definitely good for economic growth. And of course, as you are saying, I mean, it also now requires, the country to put in place proper urban planning mechanisms in place. And this is where, the people like now Engineer Toro, will help us. And as on the screen is the nephews of the departed president, making way into the venue, that is Laikipia Governor Nderito Mureithi, who was also an assistant minister for trade during Kibaki'S tenure. He's also an economist, right? Yeah. And an astute one. He used to work for the International
Finance Corporation, which is the lending arm of the World Bank. Has also made his way there. So you know, there are also various people who are here, and if you can allow me, I can actually go through some of them. Some of even the retired military generals, including chiefs of generals staff. They are in attendance, to honor their fallen bosses. So that is what exactly is happening. They are expecting the arrival of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is expected.
Actually, Brian, I'm told that they've arrived.
Oh, the president has
The
arrived?
president has arrived, has landed at Udaya Boys High School, as well as DP Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. All of them are Udaya Boys High School. Probably that's where they'll pick up from that particular point, and a clear indication that they're almost getting home. Not so well conversant with the area though, but it's now 10:21, so we would predict that not so long from now they should be there. So the president has arrived at Udaya Boys School, together with the DP Ruto also there, and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. So yes, as we said, he is the man to receive the former head of state at that particular event. We'll get the
actually, I'm being told that
go there live.
they're just going through Mokoreni town, eh?
That's Mokoreni.
Yeah, that's Mokoreni town. Yeah. So I don't know, what's the distance from Mokoreni to the approved school?
It's not
Engineer?
It's not far.
It's
Maybe
like
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
It's not far.
It's not far.
It's not far. All right. So where is the approved school from Othaya? What is the name of that small town?
I can't really. I can't remember, but it's his home there. That's why you would be interested. Next to the wife.
Next to the wife.
Yeah, home. The Udaya home.
The Othaya home. His Othaya home.
Yeah, his Udaya home.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, the cottage is actually now approaching closer and closer to the approved school, and of course now they haste pace because they really want to catch time, and the people on the screen is President. I had a chat with Mutahi Kagwe, and he really talked about how the president was very of much help when Kenya was trying to
Professor Bitangendemo of the University of Nairobi, who was PS then in information communications technology. Kwanza City, all of those things were riding on the first, under the back of the first undersea cable to come to the country, because the idea was to bring costs down. Apart from instead of relying on satellites for electronic information delivery, we had the first undersea cable. I think we have gone on to the fourth, the fifth, I think so on.
the sixth cable.
And that has made us a really important demonstrator, but also particularly in the financial sector. And you just mentioned M-Pesa, talk about legacy, is those sort of things. And he took a very strong personal interest in this, in ensuring that all the obstacles on the way were removed. And I think we owe to him the fact that we went as far as we did then. I think we must revisit areas in which we're lagging behind. I think Kansas City and the international partners who are supposed to come with us, the government of Korea, they're in there with a foothold in a big way, but also international players from the United States, the big brands like Google, Hewlett Packard, all
IBM.
IBM, all of these players should be brought on board now, just like we had intended, if his legacy is to be continued. I know there are a few problems, for example, National Land Commission, as a minister was saying, land is always a problem to get projects started in our country. And it makes our projects in Kenya more expensive because landholders always hold out for money, and it takes time. Regardless of all that, we know what the problems are. Let's go out and solve them. Yeah.
Very well, and I think it's also highly appreciative to note that since the body or the cortege left the Lee Funeral Home, it's very interesting to note that we haven't seen this procession, going through a road that is not would not be said to be not in good shape.
Yeah,
because the only stress that we can talk about is the Kenol to Marwa,
which is under
construction.
Yeah.
When you look at the roads, which is definitely a legacy of Mwai Kibaki, engineer.
Yeah, they were not there. And
just a minute, that is a professor, minister for ICT during Kibaki'S time. Actually, a lot of people there, coming to Mona. That is also Amos Kimunya, who was the minister for finance then. And also next to him is Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, of the cortege, so that they can bid farewell to a man they have known and they have admired, and they have a beautiful landscape. They are very green, and the road is absolutely
of the construction of that route. One thing that the President Kibaki was very particular about is getting value for money and getting, previously you would get a road which has been tarmacked, and within 1 year there is no road. And he said that he does not want that nonsense anymore. And also the cost of construction, when 2 or 3, when Kibaki took over, and it's good to talk about corruption where it existed, the road was 30 million per kilometer. And 30 million per kilometer
down by half.
And also good road. Well designed and supervised, because supervision never used to be there. So by bringing the cost of construction per kilometer to 30, we were able to do more roads. And that is where we started. Our first budget, because you inherited a budget which was there 2 or 3. The roads budget was 0. every cost-effective measure in place. Me and Laila.
And this was inclusive of the recurrent expenditure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when we put all those measures in place, we were able to kickstart the construction. So the 203-204 budget was a don't tender if you do not have money budgeted for that particular year and that particular road.
That is what we call prudential financial.
Yes. So you wanted Kibaki to be on wrong footing with him. Go against that.
Yeah.
Was asked, where are you going to get money to do that road or to do that project? So he was very particular about that. The other issue I like the viewers to understand what Kibaki wanted as signatures. So once the certificate is submitted to headquarters, then 6 signatures, and then the contractors never come to chase the payment here. Wait for your money. And you are able now to do that, and contractors were able to finish their work. And the other thing that we implemented was no contractor will get 2 projects. When you get the second project, you have to be about 80% complete. So we were able to spread the work to as many contractors as possible. So there was no rush for contractors to come and get three projects, 2 projects, which they will never even implement. So that way, that's how we were able to move very fast, even in the housing sector. And also the public works. We talk roads, now public works, and even the housing sector.
Yep.
The same was implemented. And that is basically what the Kibaki was looking into all his ministers. Work without supervision from me. But he would know whatever was happening everywhere. The other point that I would like viewers to know, for the 5 years I was assistant minister, another 6 years when I was in Kenya, let's say when I was assistant minister, there is no tractor coming to my office saying that I have been sent by Kibaki to be given this work.
It's never happened.
Never. I have never gone to Kibaki'S state house and Kibaki would be having a contractor saying, can you go and help this contractor? Or Kibaki would call and say, I'm sending a contractor to you. Never, not even once.
That is the man you're talking about.
So, contractors never used to go to state house to get work. They would come and tender professionally. They would be given and supervised professionally and paid. So that is Kibaki. Never. Even my minister, even Raila or Nyashai, when he came, there is no time that any of them said we have instructions from State House that we do this. So the busy bodies that are characteristic of State House that we are being sent by the President, those busy bodies were not there.
the so-called hangers-on.
And hangers on, they were never there.
I want to hear from
I think you can confirm that.
I just want you to tell me because how did we end up with unpaid bills to contractors now of more than 330 billion shillings? Then Uhuru Kenyatta, the current president, has been very tough, to ministries, telling them, please pay contractors for the work that they have done. How comes we never used to have that during?
Just as President Kibaki was keen on projects being completed and money being spent, he was also as keen to make sure the tax money comes in. You just said that President Kibaki never called you about a delayed road and a delayed payment. The same thing we had from Mr. Michael Waweru when he was at the Kenya Revenue Authority. You read his book, the Kenya's Tax Czar, and he was told when he took over that there's this phone which links used to State House. If it calls, pick it up. From the day he got in there to the time he left, it never rang. Yesterday, or I think the day before, William Mutunga, the former Chief Justice, Dr. William Mutunga, was saying he never got a call throughout his tenure from President Kibaki calling him about a case. And he had said the same thing incidentally when he quit his tenure as Chief Justice. So you're hearing now again from that. This is the important thing is here was delegation, but also integrity. Once I give you the promise that there will be no interference on behalf of my friends, it won't happen. We have a serious problem right now on the fiscal side of macroeconomic management in our country because the tax side was hemorrhaging for a long time, not bringing in as much revenue as is consistent with the way the economy is growing. Because if the economy grows, tax revenue ought to grow on the back of it. It's called tax buoyancy by those who study those issues like that. That's one thing. The World Bank the other day was saying as much as 5% of GDP that should have come in as taxes is not there. There are reasons for it. You exempt some goods, you allow us to come in, or whatever reasons there are, and there are people who care who can give you a good lesson on that, and that will be one of the answers to this. The other issues,
5% of our GDP, which is almost 12 trillion Kenya shillings.
This is why the IMF here, and we are on an IMF program now, are insisting on tightening on tax collection and on the fiscal side and targets. Luckily, they're going up again. But we've had that history now for some past, and we're going to see. And Kenyans realize it's going to hurt because once the IMF is coming here with conditions like that, you will see the effect of that on your daily bill when you go shopping, all of the above.
And also something else, that you have put, and just for on your screen, that is Kenya Kwanza members, that is weekly that is Senator Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi, who was the Minister for Finance during Kibaki'S tenure.
No, Mwai.
During Mwai's tenure, he was the Deputy Prime Minister during Kibaki'S tenure. During the government of the coalition government.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, he was the Deputy Prime Minister, and together with Uhuru Kenyatta, who was then the Minister for Finance, and Musalia Mudavadi was also the Minister for Local Government.
Local government.
Yeah, he became devolution local government. Exactly. So I still wanted, still on that issue that you have brought about.
I think, Brian, we perhaps just a matter of an update. I think in a few minutes from now, with the arrival of such kind of guests, we now expect that the body will be there in a few. And then now that the president is also in the vicinity at the boys, he will be the person to receive the body, of course. Still remember that this is a military event, and we expect members of the military to take charge of the entire session, drawn from the Kenya Army, the Kenya Navy, and the Kenya Air Force, all in the rank of colonels, led by brigadier, taking charge of that particular event. At the graveside, the flag will be handed over to the family, and a 19-gun salute will be administered in honor of the late President, the late President Mwai Kibaki. Of course, 21-gun salute is only given to heads of state who die while in power, and that is according to the rule. And so far in the history of our nation, only was also given 19-gun salute. We have a living president in Kenya. But nonetheless, Prof, we must be thankful as a nation that we've gone through the process, and a majority of people alive today have seen the hands of 3 presidents until the 4th one today, Prof.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you look at our neighbors,
yes,
you realize we have a lot to thank God for, that younger generations are now getting accustomed to making a transition from one presidency to the next, peacefully, more or less. And this is very unusual in our part of the world. Kenyans should look at their blessings. I know we look at what's going wrong, and we should.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, this is one of the things that we consider an essential part of our heritage. And by the way, that speaks to the tolerance of Kenyans. A lot of people here say they envy Tanzania, and they're right to say so. But look at us. In terms of transition, there may be arguments, there may be competition, but at the end of the day, when all that is done, and the process has worked its way,
yes,
and the laws have worked their way, it's a good and smooth transition. And that's why you can talk about, yes, there's no living president now, but we know that when the tenure comes, there's going to be a succession, and there's going to be another government.
Was you sat in the President Mwai Kibaki's cabinet. Simply, what would current crop of leaders learn from you and President Mwai Kibaki's style of leadership generally?
Unfortunately, the leaders we have today, they do not want to run from us. They do not even care. They don't even care to know about Kibaki, how he ran his government. Because when you hear the leadership today addressing Wananchi and saying we do not want to know history. We don't want history.
Yes.
We want now. Now, if you do not want to know
just a minute, engineer, I think it is very important to point out that now the cottage is in Othaya town. This is Othaya town. They have just passed Monaine Primary School, which is about 3 kilometers from Othaya town. And the significance of Monaine Primary School is where President Kibaki used to cast his vote. Okay. So that is his local school,
Yeah.
a polling station. As you can see, the final destination, that is the approved school.
Yeah, this is quite close to their heart because this is the longest serving member of parliament. They could easily talk about you know.
And actually, the other fact is that President Kibaki goes into history as one of the longest serving members of parliament from 1961. 63
Yeah.
to 2000
Yes.
50 years
Yes.
as a member of parliament.
That's a record. I don't think because Kenyan voters vote leaders out. Who is going to stay in power for 50 years?
Moi did how many? Moi,
More is probably longer because he was
More is longer.
already 55 and he was in parliament right through to when he became president in 78.
In 78,
Yeah.
and he left presidency in 2002.
Yeah.
So when you do
it's
the
about the
math,
same. About the same.
so almost the same.
That's a long
actually,
time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. But when you look
But they
at
approach one another.
exactly. But if you look at the track record and what they did to the society, to the country,
Yeah.
it would easily say that okay, fine, they were okay to be in parliament for all that while. Understand? Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly.
Some of you would say that probably we wish we had a longer period with President Mwai Kibaki. When you look at the issue of economy, we would have been somewhere else. But yeah, we don't complain so far, so forth.
So what I was saying about the leadership, when you find the leaders saying they do not want to know history, now history talks about good things
Yes.
and bad things.
Yeah.
So that you stop doing the bad things, you emulate the good things. Because the good from his style of politics, then it means now you are never ends.
Yeah.
And that's why you are always continuously being educated so that you can be able to be reminded
Yes.
where you can go wrong and where you can go right. And also, you are told what you want to do was tried sometimes, it never worked.
Yes.
So let us try it another way. You cannot continue reinventing the wheel. Because when you reinvent the wheel, you never make progress. So that's the unfortunate status we have now, the new leaders who do not want to hear anything. And me, as with all the knowledge I have and everything.
Yeah. If you can take a look, we have the Humvees already. Chances are that the cottage probably now will be handed over to the military as we speak, because the Humvees, we saw the Humvees took the body yesterday from State House to Nyayo Stadium. And here we have the military already lined up.
Actually, they have arrived.
They've arrived.
At the approved schools.
So we have the military already aligned. There you have it. The gun carriage
It will be put on the
reversing
gun
to
carrier.
receive the body there at the junction. We have the military already lining up the canals. From this particular point until the end of the session, now it's a military affair. They hand over to the military, and up to this point, we are going to see a change of program and how the protocol is going to be moved from this particular point until the end of the time. It's actually 10 minutes to 11. And we can now say that Mzee is safely home. Mzee is home now.
Exactly. The body or the cottage is actually outside the approved schools.
Right.
And for the journey that started at 7 in
Sharp.
the morning, sharp. So it has taken them about how many hours? 4 hours and 50 minutes.
Almost 5 hours.
That's almost 5 hours.
But as you said, it was plus or minus because of the stops. Probably would have done even shorter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when you look at the program, I mean, it was expected that they will be here at 10.
At
so
10. Yes.
they're just 50 minutes behind the schedule. I think they will have to do
Construction,
something
the
to try
diversions.
and catch up on time.
It's still okay.
Yeah, it's still
So
okay,
the gun
but,
carriage, if you look at the gun carriage itself, it has got 2 flags. The white one is the presidential standard for President Mwai Kibaki, which he used during his time in office, and then the Kenyan flag. The gun carriage, of course, will take the body to the venue, and signaling that it's now a military event, exclusive military event.
Just look at
the parade.
the military parade. It's a combination of the Kenya Navy, the Kenya
Army,
and the Air Force. The 3 arms of the Kenya Defense Forces.
Actually, they say that it's a full parade, consisting of 96 members of the service, led by brigadier there. So
96, you say?
Yes.
What is the significance of 96? Instead of 1,000 or 20?
For them,
Do you have any idea?
96 should be the full parade. And if you have a quarter parade like the one we saw at Lifinerum, that's a quarter parade. This is a full parade signaling a high-ranking member of the state. For example, now this is the final parade that he's getting a full parade equivalent to his stature. He is a former commander-in-chief, and therefore you're getting that full parade consisting of the Kenya Army, the Kenya Navy, and the Kenya Air Force. So it's quite significant, and of course even the 19-gun salute. For so many people, it will be the first time to get the sound of the guns,
especially in this town.
In this town, you can imagine it's been a peaceful area.
I hope they're prepared.
There is something that I noticed yesterday, and I don't know whether you noticed. President Kenyatta from State House all the way to Nyayo Stadium, his vehicle never carried any flag. It was just
no.
Yeah.
Yes.
The significance that you cannot have 2 flags.
2 flags flying at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah. And of course, according to what they say, it's not President Uhuru Kenyatta's moment.
Yeah.
It is the late president's moment. So
with his flag.
His flag. So
okay.
Yeah. That's why we have got 2 flags. We have the other flags flying at half-mast.
Yes.
Well, the president is still there. The regime is still active, but it's not President Uhuru Kenyatta's time to shine.
So the 2 flags cannot fly at the same time.
The same territory.
Would we expect to see the same here?
I think so. Even if we look at the president's vehicle when they're going to the venue, it will not be having flags.
It was
just like in church.
Right.
If you have got many bishops, there is only one bishop who will have the
mace.
No other mace will be there. Yeah. And even yesterday, you noticed yesterday, it's only one mace which was there.
Right.
Is it the senior most or
not? Whatever it is, once you say this is the one who is going to have the mace, every other bishop will not bring the mace, and they all have the mace.
So that you don't end up with a situation whereby you have 15.
Yeah, that is now for that ceremony. You are the one.
Okay.
So your mace is the one that is going to. Yes. So
I'm also imagining it's the same because I've seen a number of cabinet secretaries here.
Yeah, there are no flags.
Their cars you will not expect them to have flags.
But that one was a directive by the president. He said no cabinet minister, no person will fly a flag, even ambassadors, until Kibaki is buried. So that was one of the points. No flags.
It's not time for show of might.
Yes.
There's a Nyeri member of parliament.
Right.
He has also arrived at the venue. Yes, and the CS for Interior,